Welcome to Mognable, where we serve you with authentic news, stories, documentaries, updates, and magazine-style insights on our society and the larger world. And more importantly, about places that fall under the radar of the mainstream media machinery. We invite you to embark on this exciting journey of enlightenment with us. Mognable, your vehicle of enlightenment.
United States President Donald Trump proposes $1,000 investment accounts for newborns as part of economic plan. President Donald Trump has introduced a proposal to establish $1,000 tax-deferred investment accounts for every American child born during his second term. The plan was unveiled during an Invest in America roundtable at the White House, attended by major business leaders including the CEOs of Uber and Goldman Sachs. The initiative is part of a broader legislative package called the One Big Beautiful Bill, which recently passed the House by a single vote and is now awaiting Senate review. While some members of the Republican Party have expressed reservations, the administration continues to advocate for the bill's benefits, despite concerns raised by the Congressional Budget Office, which estimates it could add $2.4 trillion to the national debt. According to the administration, these new investment accounts, informally referred to as Trump accounts, will be available to all U.S. citizens born between January 1, 2025 and December 31, 2028. Each eligible child will receive an initial $1,000 deposit, designed to track the stock market's performance. Parents or guardians will manage the accounts, with the option to make additional annual contributions of up to $5,000.
I also want to thank you for being here as we discuss one of the most exciting parts of the One Big Beautiful Bill. It is indeed a big, beautiful bill, and it's doing very well. The Trump accounts, as they call it, pilot program, which will make it possible for countless American children to have a strong start in life at no cost to the American taxpayer. Absolutely no cost. It's going to have a huge impact. Thank you all, fellas. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. Thanks as well to many top business leaders from Invest America, CEO, Council. It's been a wonderful council. They've come up with some fantastic ideas. We're putting them into use. They're really the greatest business minds we have today. These men and women lead large, successful companies, and they're committed to contributing millions of dollars to the Trump account, and it's really it's going to be something incredible for children and for their employees in many cases. Here's how the accounts work. For every U.S. citizen born after December 31st, 2024, before January 1st, 2029, the federal government will make a one-time contribution of $1,000 into a tax-deferred account that will track the overall stock market. In other words, it'll be pegged to an index that we'll pick. Right, Michael? We'll pick it. We'll pick a good one. Maybe you should be the index. I'd like to have that. These kids would be very wealthy if that were the case. That would be a good idea. I think we might do that, Michael Dell. These accounts will be private property controlled by the child's guardians, and in many cases, those guardians will be the parents. We think probably the parents will be the guardians. They'll be open for additional private contributions each year from family, friends, parents, employers, churches, private foundations, and more. This is a pro-family initiative that will help millions of Americans harness the strength of our economy to lift up the next generation, and they'll really be getting a big jump on life, especially if we get a little bit lucky with some of the numbers and the economies into the future. In addition to the substantial financial benefits of investing early in life, extensive research shows that children with savings accounts are more likely to graduate high school and college, buy a home, start a business, and are less likely to be incarcerated. Trump accounts will contribute to the lifelong success of millions of newborn babies. They are fully, and this will be very interesting, I think, for everybody to hear, they are fully funded through targeted reforms in the One Big Beautiful Bill, like the $1.7 trillion in mandatory savings, welfare reforms to stop waste and fraud, a 3.5% remittance tax, and more.
The White House described the program as a forward-looking measure to foster long-term financial stability for the next generation. Officials emphasized research suggesting that early financial investments in children can lead to higher rates of educational attainment, home ownership, and business creation while reducing the likelihood of incarceration. The proposal aligns with recent efforts by the administration to address falling birth rates in the United States. In recent months, various pro-national policies have been advanced, including expanded access to fertility treatments and proposals to offer financial incentives for childbearing, such as a $5,000 baby bonus. As the bill moves to the Senate, lawmakers are expected to propose amendments ahead of a planned vote by July 4. With a narrow Republican majority in the Senate, the outcome will depend on party unity and negotiations over contentious elements of the broader budget package. In the meantime, Austria mourns after devastating school shooting in Graz. Austria has been plunged into mourning following a school shooting in Graz that left 11 people dead, including the attacker, in what is now the deadliest shooting in modern Austrian history. The incident unfolded on Tuesday morning around 10 in the morning at a secondary school in Graz, near the city's main train station. The attacker, a 21-year-old former student, opened fire during morning classes. Some students were reportedly taking the final exams at the time. These were able to bring the situation under control within 17 minutes. By then, 6 female and 3 male victims had already lost their lives, as 7 women later died in hospital. Several other victims remain hospitalized, some in critical condition. Authorities confirmed that the shooter, who legally owned 2 firearms and had no criminal record, took his own life at the scene. He is believed to have struggled with feelings of being bullied and had never completed his final exams. The city of Graz, known for its calm and orderliness, has been left shaken. Local residents expressed disbelief, with one woman describing the area as typically peaceful and family-friendly. National leaders have called the attack a tragedy that cuts to the heart of the country. President Alexander Van der Bellen and Chancellor Christian Stoltenberg offered emotional responses, describing the pain felt across Austria as immeasurable. 3 days of national mourning have been declared. Flags at the Hofburg Palace in Vienna are flying at half-mast in honor of the victims. While Australia has a relatively high number of legally owned firearms among civilians, mass school shootings are rare. This attack has revived conversations about gun control and school safety in a country still grappling with the trauma of past isolated shootings and the 2020 Vienna terrorist attack. Investigations continue into how the shooter was able to obtain one of his weapons just a day before the rampage, despite the country's strict licensing requirements. The tragedy has left a deep scar on the community, with many young residents expressing fear and sorrow for the loss of their peers. Meanwhile, Greta Thunberg Deported, Israel says, after Gaza aid boat intercepted. Israel says it has deported Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg a day after the Gaza-bound aid boat she and 11 other people were on was intercepted by Israeli forces in the Mediterranean. Thunberg departed Tel Aviv on Tuesday morning on a flight to France after she agreed to be deported, the Israeli Foreign Ministry said. Upon arriving at an airport in Paris, Thunberg accused Israel of illegally kidnapping her and other activists on the boat while they were in international waters. France said 5 of the 6 French citizens detained alongside her had refused to sign their deportation orders and would now be subjected to judicial proceedings. the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, the activist group operating on the yacht, the Madeleine, has demanded the immediate release of everyone detained. The vessel was intercepted earlier on Monday while the activists tried to deliver a symbolic amount of aid to Gaza in defiance of Israel's maritime blockade and highlight the humanitarian crisis there. The Israeli Foreign Ministry dismissed it as a selfie yacht and announced in a post on X on Monday night that the passengers had been transferred to Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion airport following the vessel's arrival at the port of Ashdod on Monday night. Those who refused to sign deportation documents and leave Israel will be brought before a judicial authority in accordance with Israeli law to authorize their deportation. The ministry said Thunberg had just departed Israel on a flight to Sweden via France and posted a photo of her sitting on a plane, speaking to reporters at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Thunberg said Israel had committed an illegal act by kidnapping us on international waters and against our will, bringing us to Israel, keeping us at the bottom of the boat, not letting us getting out and so on. She added that is not the real story here. The real story is that there is a genocide going on in Gaza and a systemic starvation following the siege and blockade now, which is leading to food, medicine, water that are desperately needed to get into Gaza is prevented from doing so. The Israeli Foreign Ministry has insisted the blockade was consistent with international law and that unauthorized attempts to breach it were dangerous, unlawful, and undermined ongoing humanitarian efforts. Asked why she was free while others were still detained, Thunberg said it was a bit unclear. She says she and some others had signed a document saying they wanted to go back as soon as they could, but did not accept they had entered the country illegally. But others hadn't signed this document. She added that she had been unable to say goodbye to fellow activists before her deportation and was unsure that what was happening to them. France's foreign minister, Jean-Noel Barrot, earlier wrote on X that its council was able to see the 6 French nationals arrested by the Israeli authorities recently. He said one of them has agreed to leave voluntarily and should return soon. The other 5 would be subject to first deportation proceedings. Barrot did not identify them, but the 6 French nationals include MEP Rima Hassan and 2 journalists, Omar Fiad of Qatar-based Al Jazeera and Janos Momdi of online publication Blast, who are documenting the Madeline's journey, as well as France and Sweden, cities of Brazil, Germany, and Netherlands, Spain, and Turkey were on board the vessel. The FFC confirmed in a statement that all 12 had reached Ashdod and that it expected any who refused to be deported to be transferred to a detention facility in Ramleh, near Tel Aviv. Their kidnapping is unlawful. It added that it continues to demand the immediate release of all volunteers and the return of the stolen aid. The kidnapping is unlawful and a violation of international law, it added. Israel's foreign ministry said the aid, which includes baby formula and medicine, would be transferred to Gaza through real humanitarian channels. The FFC said the Madeleine was intercepted by the Israeli military inside international waters about 185 kilometers, which is approximately 115 miles west of Gaza, according to the group. The vessel was surrounded by quadcopter drones sprayed with a white irritant substance and had its communications damaged. Video footage released by the group showed the passengers seated down with their hands raised as Israeli forces boarded. It also posted a pre-recorded clip showing Thunberg saying, if they saw the video, they have been intercepted. The foreign ministry later said all the passengers were safe and unharmed and posted a video showing troops handing them food and water. Thanks for watching us today and for joining us on our journey of enlightenment.
label, your vehicle overlightment.